Okay, before the break, I mentioned about the what you brought to playing Oracene Price. A lot of people did kind of, for lack of a better way to put it, looked at her like an ornament. So how did you bring her to life in their story? Because clearly this is what the sisters, this is what they wanted to be highlighted. So how did you do that?
I'm taking a minute and I'm writing that word you just used, ornament, because I'm gonna use
Hmm.
that. I'm gonna
It's
use
all
that.
yours. I would consider it an honor.
So let me know if you want to get a percentage, but I'm about to use
Mm-mm.
that. You about to use
No, that
that
is you.
again,
You
Miss Hill.
no, that is you, sis. So, but how
uh,
did you bring the fullness and the nuance of who she is to life?
yeah, well, thankfully that was there from the beginning. That she was not just an ornament. That was already in the script, and I just wanted us to go as far as we could with that, to get the fullness of her, um that part that people don't know, which is that she's a coach. And people don't realize that, people don't know that. And her daughters, as you said, Isha specifically, daughter Isha, where they were trying to make sure that was portrayed in the film. And when I found that out, I just became very dogged about that. And then hearing her recordings, she did these recordings for Ray and our director Will and our writer Zach. And she talked about being an athlete. And I thought that was fascinating to me, that you had this woman who's sort of cast as who's the wife here, but what is wife and mother here, but what is that like? She's already dope, but then also she used to be an athlete. And she talks about, like, how when she would play baseball, that they hated to see her come to the plate, because she would always hit the ball so far that they have to send people, like, go catch the ball, go find the ball. You know what I mean? And to hear her talk about this with such pride, you know what I mean? It's like talking trash, you know what I'm saying, about herself, and meaning it. So how does that convert to motherhood? How does that person convert to a mother? How does that convert to a wife? And so I just pulled from that. I just pulled from that um and then also beyond that, Miss Oracina is a Jehovah's Witness. So I made sure that I went to a worship service for the Jehovah's Witness, and talk about these spaces that Black women don't fully exist in. Is that women of faith, particularly, because I think women of faith are really disregarded and seen as ornaments, seen as half women, have people, seeing as sort of being these silent witnesses to the world, when in fact there would be no civil rights movement, there would be no freedom rights movement in this country if it weren't for Black women of faith. So that was the other thing that was really important to me, and to build and building the character, building her.
When you're in the midst of a project like this, be it when you're filming or even when you're just reading and trying to understand the character, do you start to get a sense that this is going to be special? Or you know, does that ever happen? Or you just do the work and you just hope it turns out good?
Listen, girl, we shot that in 2020. We shot that before it was a vaccine. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't, none of these things that we're doing now to sort of kind of keep us alive here, none of that stuff was in place. So, we started shooting in January, and we didn't finish until December, because we everything locked down in the middle. So for me, I didn't think we were going to finish the movie, period. So just finishing it felt like it was enough. I gotta say, I was just, oh, we did that, thank God, you know what I mean? So all of this stuff that's happening now just feels like it's really unexpected. And I'm just really really happy about it, because we it was a strange, weird time, just like things are still strange and weird, but it was particularly that way then, and that we got through it and we did it. So that was enough. And then, I just feel like, someone was asking me, did I get emotional doing the, and I said, no, I didn't get emotional about it. I didn't have time to be emotional. Because you know what I'm saying? Because she didn't have time to be emotional. She had children to take care of, she had 5 of them at that, she didn't have time to be emotional. And so that's how I felt my job was. I didn't have time to be emotional. Because if you play the emotion, what you're doing is you're playing the result of something rather than playing the process of something and being present in the moment. So no, I didn't feel, I was like, this is nice. I'm an opposite, Will Smith. It's a big old Hollywood movie. It takes us 5 hours to do 2 pages of dialogue. Okay, you know what I mean? This ain't my life, but all right. So that felt special. But the bigger picture of it, I wasn't trying to pay no attention to that.
Well, that being said, though, you're also dealing with characters who are alive that everybody knows. So is there an
Yeah.
additional, maybe pressures and, yeah, responsibility? I'll use that word. Is there a different responsibility when you're playing someone who's a real life person?
Um, well, this was it varies. It varies. I had a different sort of point of view about playing Miss Alam and When They See Us, a different approach when I played Dr. Maddie and the Clark sisters, and this was different in King Richard. Aisha was she would say what she had to say, but for the most part she was hands off, in the Clark sisters, it was another kind of thing. It was people around trying to be in my ear, and I had to be like, get off me, get off me, let me do my thing, trust me. Do you know what I mean? And then on When They See Us, Miss Salon would actually be at work sometimes. So, but what I tried to do, I tried to be kind to myself and give myself a shot at just doing my job, as much as I could, and be honorable to them.
Um, what, well, I don't know if were you privy to what Oracene Price's reaction was to, like, once it was all done and she saw the movie, like, what did she have to say? I don't know if you were able to receive any of her feedback.
Well, Miss Oracene is a woman of a few words, So when I did finally see her, when we started, promoting the film, she just said, "Good job," and I felt like the clouds had cleared in my life. That was good enough for me.